Hello, my name is Tarmack, and let me give you my second impressions of a game called Death Road to Canada. Second Impressions is a series on the channel where I've put a few hours into a game, and I want to show it off because there's some good there, but I haven't played enough to really justify a review. Unlike a lot of channels, I'm not going into these games blind. I actually want to be able to explain what's going on. So what is Death Road to Canada? Well, your whole goal here is to get to the Canadian border because that's where it's safe, apparently. Apparently there's no zombies in Canada. I'm sure it has something to do with the weather. But either way, that's our goal. That's where we're going. So you create a character for yourself. My character's name is Tarmack. He's got his blue and red toque. A perk of healthcare because, of course, I'm Canadian, and that's important to me, even though I've never made it to Canada in the bloody game. And a trait of charming because, well, yeah, of course. And then you've got a buddy that you can have along with you to start. You can turn this off if you want. You don't have to have it. It is worth noting that they take resources as you go, food and healing supplies and things like that. But I found that they're all right to have for the most part. And of course, you can also randomize what perks and traits and things that the buddy comes with. And last, before you start a game, you can pick what game mode you've got. And there's some things that are just like the normal game mode. Familiar characters is other characters you've created and you've got in your own custom games. Rare characters is all kinds of, crazy shenanigans. And then, of course, a couple of modes to make things a bit more difficult. I like the rare characters mode myself. So let's pick that one and start down the road. So you start off, you've got a crappy car, a bit of gas, a bit of food, and you can read a couple of hints. It gives you some clues into how the world works and what you need to do. We're just going to hit the road. Now, Death Road to Canada is based on two different areas of play, I guess you could say. There's the on-the-road bit where you're driving. You'll have various encounters that'll pop up. You can pick where you want to go or what you want to do. And then the second area is in the actual zone where you have zombies and things to deal with. So right now, we've got the Walmart, a house on the road, or a rest stop. I'm going to go with the Walmart just because there tends to be some food in those. Sometimes there's some weapons and things as well. And then, of course, it also gives you the zombie forecast. It lets you know kind of what equipment you want to bring with you. Do you want to take, the best gun that you happen to have, or do you want to maybe just kind of leave that for the moment and not use up all your ammo? And it tells you what time of day it is, and of course, how aggressive the zombies are. So we're going to go bargain hunting. Tarmac has just a piece of rebar, and me has a meat cleaver. That's excellent news. But we're a little bit low on food. We've only got 8. We need to get some more food. So we're going to go ahead and hunt for some food. So the zone starts. You drive up in your silly little car. You hop out. And let's go hunting for some food inside the Walmart. Now, I'm just using the keyboard to control this. X attacks. C changes what weapon you've got. You can have multiple weapons equipped at any one time. And hopefully that there isn't too much keyboard noise on this, because I am, as I say, I'm playing with the keyboard, and it can be a little bit clickety-clickety with the mechanical keyboard. You can play the game with the controller, but it tends to detect that as player 2 instead of player 1. Now, right off the hop, and I'm not sure if you can see this when you're actually watching the video, but there is a little bit of a frame issue. So sometimes it's a lovely 60 frames per second, and then other times it drops down to, 45, 40, sometimes as low as 30. There are a couple of graphical options that you can play with, but you can't do that from inside the game. You have to actually go back out to the options menu and do it there, which is fine. For a game like this, the whole 60 frames per second thing is nice, but maybe a little bit less necessary. And all I'm doing is I'm just running around and picking up stuff while killing a couple of zombies on the way, just to see if there's anything of value in here. Doesn't look like there's anything in this bathroom. Sometimes you find fuel in the toilets, which is a little bit concerning. I'm sure it's biodiesel or something along those lines. Now, the other possibility as far as the frame rate goes is I'm recording with DX Story, and I've had some issues on the odd occasion, depending on the game that you're playing, where you run into some different frame rate concerns. But as I say, a game like this, it's much less of a big deal. All right, then you get in your car, and off you go. Now, your car can take damage, and this is a little bit of a problem, of course, because you'll notice it starts to smoke on the road, and eventually it can actually break down. But then you can also have characters in your party that are mechanics, and maybe they'll have an opportunity to try to fix something. So we've got just a quick little campsite. We can tell stories, or we can just go to sleep. I think we're just going to go to sleep, and it's going to cost us 4 food. No big deal. We've got 12. We picked up a bunch inside the Walmart. And the next event, driving into a city. Don't lose track of time, because things can get bad after the sun sets. That is absolutely true. Now, we picked up a bunch of food, so maybe the convenience mart isn't the best choice. Let's go with the pet shop. Sometimes in the pet shop, you'll actually find a dog or something like that, which can be a part of your group. All right. So, every area that you drive into, sometimes there'll be an extra... Oh, look, there is a dog. Dog, come with me. Oh, no. All right, that dog's not going to come with me. That's no good. That dog's feral. But we'll gladly take the food. So the areas that you drive into, sometimes they'll have multiple areas that you can go into and you can loot for various goodies. So we just did the pet shop, which is the whole reason we came here, but here's another building right next door. And it becomes a debate with yourself on whether it's worth it to go into an area to try and pick up more loot, because of course, the more areas you go into, the more zombies you have to deal with. And every zombie you have to deal with increases the chances of you taking a little bit of damage. There's only so many hits that you can take, but you can be near the zombies without taking an awful lot of damage right off the hop. Like, you have to be kind of held by them for a little while before you start to actually take a few hits. So, like, I can get near him, and you'll see that question mark or exclamation point come up above my head, and it indicates that I'm in danger, but not yet actually being harmed. Alright, this room or this house looks like it's clear, so we're going to skip on down and keep moving. See if there's any other areas out here that are worth exploring. Now, the games always start off nice and calm like this. This is just the beginning of all of the different runs that you'll have in Death Road to Canada. They'll all be nice and calm. And as you start to get further in, you'll run into all kinds of varieties of... Or maybe not... I shouldn't say varieties, because the zombies are all fairly similar. Sometimes they're more aggressive, sometimes they're less aggressive, but you'll have all different quantities of zombies that like to come and screw up your day. And the groups can get really big as you get further into the game as well. I have successfully made it to the Canadian border once, but I didn't actually survive the last encounter. I'm very disappointed in myself. I was not aware that the Canadian border guard was that dangerous. So there I picked up a hammer. And there are all kinds of other items and things in the game as well. So you'll pick up various handguns, shotgun, things like that. There's a chainsaw. What else have I had? A flamethrower. Other stuff that just kind of cause you a little bit of havoc. And allow you to cause havoc in return. Alright, so this area is clear. We'll hop back in the car. Now, when your car is even more damaged, sometimes it takes longer to start. And so you'll be swarmed by this mass of zombies. And you can't leave until your car actually does in fact start. It makes it a little on the stressful side. Okay, so as I mentioned, there's kind of 2 stages to the game. There's the road section and then the actual area section. And you'll run into a lot of encounters like this, where you have a couple of different choices to make on who in your party do you want to improve, and what skill set do you want to improve as well. So repair manual, okay, so that will increase the skill level as far as the mechanical skill will go for repairing the car if it breaks down. Self-help book on positivity is the mood. And then rhyming children's book, I have no idea what that's for. We're going to go with the repair manual because that just makes a great deal more sense. So both of our mechanical skill increases. That doesn't mean that our mechanical skill is good, just that it's increased. All right, so we've got a late night event, and this is another one, you know, same sort of deal. We don't have an area to go into for this one. It's just picking who's going to go and try and siphon gas. If I recall correctly, if the person is not particularly mechanical, they might just swallow a bit of the gas as well and make themselves sick, but let's see how that goes. Yeah, there we go. Exactly. So morale has decreased, but I got a whole bunch of fuel, and we ate some food as well. Of course, Tarmack's tired because he didn't sleep that night. All right, so we've got another event. Group gets into a peaceful moment. Gets a peaceful moment to rest in a safe house. No zombies in sight. Spare time. What are we going to do? Do we just cool it? I think we're just going to cool it. Get some sleep. Get some rest. Morale increases. That is excellent. Still not sure what the morale increase actually does. I know that low morale, you have the possibility of your buddies or your other NPCs actually leaving the death road, that they will just disappear, run away from you. Alright, so we've got ourselves an encounter for a trading camp. So we can ignore them or we can go in, and it depends on whether you have any resources. If you don't have anything to trade, because most of the stuff that you're trading is food for other things. Sometimes you can trade some fuel and whatnot as well. But let's go into the trader's camp. Sometimes there's some resources we can purloin along the way as well. And there we go. Some bullets randomly sitting in a house that nobody bothered to deal with. What does this guy got? He's got a bunch of shotguns all lashed to his back. And I could buy a shotgun for 7 food, but you know, I've only got 12. That's probably good, but I don't know. This one's got rifles. Got a cowboy rifle for 10 food. Just don't... Oh, my goodness. We've got a zombie in the trader camp as well. It's good we dealt with that in a real hurry. Alright, so we got some more food. Got another 5 food. Maybe it's worthwhile to get a shotgun, actually. Just check really quick. Somebody doing medical services. We don't need any of that. Nobody's hurt yet. So let's buy a shotgun. Because I want to be able to show off guns as well. Alright, car's starting to take a little longer to start. This is not great, but I'm sure we'll be fine. If your car breaks down, and in some other events that you run into, you can actually get different cars as well. You can get really fast, sort of sporty cars that take a lot more damage and break down quicker, but they drive a lot faster, so you're going to get to the border of Canada faster as well. And oh my god, I didn't plan this. I was going to mention it. It's a part of my show notes that I've got on my other screen. There's a gnome in the game. I had the developer tweet at me about the gnome, actually. I can't remember if I started it or not, saying, you know, geez, you guys really should have a gnome in this game. And they said, or sent a message back saying, yeah, we do. So we have a gnome. We can recruit the gnome, so I'm going to do that because fucking of course I am. I'm pretty stoked. Not very strong. Great attitude. Really good at medical stuff. Alright. So now we've got 3 different characters. And when you have different characters that are maybe a little bit injured, everybody has a medical skill as well. And I'll explain this siege thing in just a minute. I want to get through this medical bit. You will have medical supplies, and they will attempt to patch each other up while they're on the road in between other events. So it's worthwhile to, of course, keep your medical supplies up. But the more NPCs that you have with you, the more food goes, the more medical supplies are used. It it becomes a resource management game. You have to make sure that maybe you don't want to pick up that extra character because, you know, we're running a little low on food. It's going to make everybody upset. It's going to cause a lot of problems. And sometimes you just leave a character behind. I've done that before. So we have ourselves another event here. Car is stuck in the ditch near a crappy dirt road. And now we've got a bunch of zombies. It's a siege. The siege is one where you cannot just leave the area. Any of the other normal areas, you can just get back in the car and go. This one we can't. We actually have to survive for a period of time. Very large horde. Current time near sunset. Chances are they're a little bit grumpy. So let's get our shotgun out. I've got 40 shots, and we'll have the rebar as my secondary weapon. Nomi's a little hurt, though, which is kind of disappointing. Can I give Nomi the hammer? That'll work. Okay. So, the shotgun, as you can see, is quite a powerful sort of weapon. It does an awful lot of damage. You can take out a couple of zombies with it. But, of course, it also relies on ammo as well. And as the horde gets bigger, the amount of space you have to run around, of course, gets smaller as well. Oh, there's a car that had a little bit of fuel in it. That's good news. The more fuel we can get, the better. Alright, so we lasted the siege. Now all I have to do is just go to the edge of the area. I don't know if there's any other fuel in any of these, but sometimes it's worthwhile to check. So that's fine. We got to the area. Everybody's safe. I don't know that anybody actually took any damage. I was trying to pay attention to that, but I didn't notice. Got a little bit of gas and a little bit of shotgun ammo as well. So, Nomi's still hurt, hopefully, because we've got 10 medical supplies down there. Hopefully somebody's going to try and heal Nomi, because that's kind of important. And if you happen to survive one of the sieges, you do get this sort of, not a random reward, but you can pick one of the random ones. It's just a way of doing a little bit of random skill upgrading and things along those lines. Let's upgrade medical, I think. Make everybody a little bit better at medical stuff. Apparently Nomi didn't care. Alright, now I'd really like somebody to heal the gnome, but I don't know if that's going to happen. It's pretty good. We've got 2 gnomes on the way to Canada. So we can choose to camp with somebody. They're risky. Or just drive off with no sleep. I think we're going to camp with them. And we'll see what happens. Sometimes they give you stuff. Sometimes they betray you. Oh, that's excellent news. They found out I'm going to Canada and they said, hey, here you go. Have some resources. You're going to need them. Ate some food. Morale increase. Get a little bit of these, you know, sort of stat changes as you're driving. Alright, so we found an abandoned safe house, got a bit of pistol ammo, some shotgun ammo, and unfinished pipe bombs in the building that somebody had to leave in a hurry. So we could finish making the pipe bombs or leave them alone. I'm going to leave them alone. I don't trust Tarmack's mechanical ability. But that's just a personal decision. You should probably trade all your food for fancy hats, says Nomi. I totally agree. Oh, that's incredible. Okay, so, another trading camp. We have 12 food. But of course, there is 3 of us. So, it's worth maybe taking a look just again to see if there's any buildings that we can kind of swipe stuff from. Doesn't look like it. This guy's got a homemade spear. Just a knife stuck to the end of a stick. That's fine. Don't think we need that. This one's got... Does she have frying pans? She was visiting the country but got stuck here after the zombies happened. She offers to join the team in exchange for 10 food up front. You know, I don't think I need the crazy woman with the frying pan. I think I'm good. And this guy with a bunch of swords. So, nothing in this particular trading area that I'm interested in, so we're just going to keep on driving. Whoops. Note to self, don't swing and hit your own car. It's not good for the car. Alright, so the car is actually damaged now because I swung and hit it with a piece of rebar. Okay, so we've got a couple of different opportunities. So we can just keep driving and it'll cost us gas. Now, of course, the goal is to get to Canada. But a lot like, you know, games like The Binding of Isaac and Enter the Gungeon, any of those sorts of roguelite sort of games, you do want to upgrade your stuff as you go. You want better weapons. You want more bullets. You want maybe better buddy characters around with you that are doing more damage. Because if you get to Canada and all you've got is a pistol, yeah, you ain't gonna make it, right? Just like if you get to the end of The Binding of Isaac with a bunch of crappy upgrades, you're not gonna make it. Let's do the bullet-ridden house. It's like a large gunfight happened here between humans. And then there's a bunch of zombies that you can hear from the outside. All right. So, you can actually, and just to give a little bit more detail on how you build up to these different encounters. So I can, right now, my leader is Tarmack. I can switch the leader role to any of the different characters, and I then control that character. Just in the same way I can switch out what they're using. But then you can also set the role as rest, which just means that they stay in the car. So let's leave Nomi in the car. Because Nomi's hurt. We don't want there to be any problems. And you can see your stats as well. Nomi is a magic forest creature riding a large rodent. Yep. That's how that works. Alright, let's go do this one. Now, sometimes it's actually a better idea to not make a lot of noise. Now, obviously, I elected to not do that by just running in and using the shotgun. Oh, there is something over there. Whether it's worth using up a couple of shotgun shells to get a bit of fuel is debatable, but... And you can see the other zombies on the other end of the doors when you walk up to them as well. So you know what's waiting for you on the other side, but really you can only see some of them. If there's a really big group, you might not quite see how many there are. And each character has some degree of stamina as well. So right now, I think maybe it's best to just clear these out. They're obviously very agitated. But if you're using melee weapons, and you just keep swinging, keep swinging, keep swinging, you'll see a little water drop up by the character's head. As he starts to get a little bit tired, face starts to go red, and my swing speed slows down. It causes you a little bit of trouble if you're going to be trying to beat them to death. So you need to keep that in mind. Alright, we got some more food resources and more fuel. That's excellent. So sometimes you want to just go ham, and other times you want to be a little bit more cautious. Alright, we've got ourselves a pistol. That's good news too. So we've got a pistol and a shotgun. Oh, what's this? Magazine. Magazine titled The Modern Hunter. Sure, that'll be useful after we're all over. Probably just show us a little bit of shooting skill, I would think. Now, I don't want to play too much and show too much of this as like a Let's Play. This is all about trying to show this game off. So we're probably going to close this session up here right away. But I want to show you a little bit of stuff relating to the options and whatnot in the game, because there are a few. This is not a terribly intensive game as far as graphical options and whatnot goes. But it does have a lot of variety in the different encounters. It's chaotic, it's stressful as all hell. Especially when you get further into the game and then you actually, you lose a character or something along those lines, and now you're stuck trying to figure out what the heck you're going to do. How are you going to survive? Right? Wasting bullets at this stage might not be the best idea. That's entirely possible. But hey, why not? Alright, let's leave. So there, I got a bunch more supplies. That's excellent news. We're back on the road. And I get to pick who gets to train from Modern Hunter magazine. So we'll make Tarmack train. And this will be a game I'll probably come back to later to keep playing. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and quit back to the title screen because I want to show off the options menu really quick. So we have your sound sliders, game music, and then you've got a couple of graphics options for the scratch, the grain, and the glitch that it's got. Your grain is obvious. Your scratch is fairly obvious. I don't really know what the glitch is for. The glitch option. The scratch is just this, old style television kind of thing or old style movies. Fast text, of course, just makes the scroll speed go quicker. And then windowed and full screen. And you can also go in and you can rebind all of your different keys. The game does have the support with the joypad or the controllers as well. And it's worth giving a shot. This is a game that I've had a lot of fun with. I've put in maybe 20 hours at this point. 20, 25, maybe more. It's a lot of fun. It's a good game. This is my second impressions video of Death Road to Canada, developed by Rocketcat Games, released on July 21st, 2016. So it was out last year. $15 US on Steam, GOG, the Humble Store, and on iOS, of all things. So maybe take a look at it if you're interested. My name's Tarmack. Thank you very much for watching. Have yourselves an excellent day. Bye-bye.